underway. Ooh, people actually listen to that. That shows that most of the people aren't here this morning. All the noisy ones are clearly not here this morning. So welcome, it's just lovely to, I mean there are so many more people than I was expecting. I thought there'd be 4 of us, you just don't know on these days. For anyone who's not aware, and I don't think there would be, a bunch of our congregation have gone into the Pride March, and hopefully we'll have a bit of footage of them proudly under their banner towards the end of the service. Rosemary's hoping to get something through to Bo so that we can all see that. So we start as always with the acknowledgement of country. As we start, I would like to acknowledge the Aboriginal owners of the land on which we are meeting today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. Today we do church on land that was stolen and never ceded. And also the welcoming. So we're a fully affirming community. We're fully committed to being a safe place for all people, regardless of gender, sexuality, race, family background, economic situation, regardless of how old you are, where you come from, what abilities you have, what languages you speak, what religion, spiritual path, tradition and ethical conviction. Everyone is welcome here, and we want everyone to feel safe here. That of course includes our online people, so welcome to those who are watching near and far, right now this moment or later on. So, looking forward with hope is the theme that I've come up with for myself when I was thinking about what we do. This is the end of our summer series. So we've had, this is the fifth week, where we've had fairly quiet, contemplative, thoughtful weeks. And there's been some lovely things come up as we've sat and thought about various themes and readings. And a few weeks ago, when Mike Kenny did the service, something really came to me from one of the readings that he used, which was from Philippians. And it was something that I sat with as a counter to doom scrolling, which I'm doing a lot of. I don't know about doom as much as, well, doom and hope. I find myself absolutely addicted to footage of Minnesotans. I'm just going through it and through it and through it and through it. People putting their lives on the line, ministers coming together, the head of a church who tells his ministers, get your affairs in order. This could well be a new age of martyrdom. You don't know what will happen to you out there. And of course they're being arrested in droves. So here in Philippians, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. And I've been trying to discipline myself to do that, and I thought it might be something we might try and do this morning. We're deluged with news of the horrors of the world. And today I think it's good to remember that there's also hope. So we're going to hear a couple of stories of hope on the way through. We're going to listen to a bit of music. We're going to have some times of silence. And we might have a bit of time just to discuss with the people around you what gives you hope as we go into this new year. So that might be something you're thinking about. But to start off with, we're going to listen to some gentle music just to see what opens up in your mind in images as we hear it. And Bobby is going to light the Christ candle as that starts. The first story is the story of Abigail. And we've probably heard a little bit about Abigail before. She's one of the... flip through to the next slide, thanks, Bo. There we go. So the picture of the kids sitting down was 2009 when Graham and I first went to Zambia. And we found that one of my students, Joyce, had started a feeding program in a little concrete shack for, I think she had about 21. They just started a couple of months before we got there. For these kids who came from completely poverty-stricken backgrounds. They were helping them out with clothing, feeding them once a day, and the kids had not been in school. They had no way of getting to school. So they were just hand-drawn ABCs and things like that tacked up around the room. And one of those is Abigail. I'm not quite sure which one because I didn't know her at the time. I didn't know who she was. The one on the my right, at the right, is Abigail has just finished her degree in IT at university. Yeah, feel free to clap. There are a couple of others who are just finishing off practicals, one in nursing, I forgot what John's doing. And they were also, they might have come a little bit later. but the story is amazing. And so Barb is going to read a letter that Abigail sent to me before Christmas to pass on to all of her supporters. After which we're just going to have a bit of silence to sit and think or feel.
It's entitled Unwithering Hope by Abigail Lupia. My name is Abigail Lupia. I am 24 years old. I come from a very humble background where poverty is real and not a story. I was brought up by my mother in a family of 7 children, and I am the 5th born. My father abandoned us when I was just a child, and life has always been full of struggles and challenges. My mother worked tirelessly in order to make ends meet, but she still struggled to pay house rent for a 2-room house we were all living in. She was unable to send us to school. Despite all these hardships, God's grace was abounding in my life. When the director and founder of A Future for Kids, Mrs. Chimbilla, enrolled me in their school and fully supported me and other needy children from early childhood education all the way through to secondary, ending up in university. They provided all school requirements, food, clothing, and many other support, all the way until now. I am grateful and excited to mention that this year I complete my university education with a Bachelor of Information Technology in Web and Software Development at North Rise University, and will be graduating mid-year 2026. My heart is overflowing with joy and gratitude. My life is a real testimony to God's provision, faithfulness, and the power of love to all the people like me. I am excited to begin work with the Rising Life Ministries, A Future for Kids, the school where I grew up, that I call home. I will help set up systems for teachers, students, and the farm. Teach basic computer skills to teachers and all the students. I will also serve as a role model, showing children, especially the girl child, the value of life, importance of education, good morals, and faith. I also dream to further my education in future, to undertake a master's degree so that I can grow academically and professionally, so I can serve better. I sincerely thank Mum Chimbilla, Director of A Future for Kids School, and all our generous board members, friends and supporters. Special thanks go to Dr. Merrill Blair and her late husband, Uncle Graham Blair, Hartwell Church of Christ, North Rise University with Dr. Zimba, for granting us financial aid, and many other donors for their unwavering support. Your belief, love, and sacrifice and generosity made my education and many other friends like me possible. I pray that my life will continue to be a source of hope and inspiration to others.
I suspect Abigail thinks of herself as bringing hope just to the kids over there. I don't think she would dream that we also can take hope. I'd like to read Matthew 5, 1 to 12, the Beatitudes, and I'm going to use this as our pastoral prayer this morning. And just to think about those around the world, those in our hearts, those we see in our media, those who are forgotten, and the way the least among us find the reality, the possibility of reversal. After that, I'm just going to play a recording of "O Lord, Hear My Prayer." Feel free to hum along if you want to, or just sit and listen to the music. So Matthew 5, 1 to 12. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up to the mountain. And after he sat down, his disciples came to him, and he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of doing the right thing, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted prophets who were before you. Amen. So the next story is a quite different one, but also one that is tremendously hopeful. This is about Kate. Kate was one of my students a number of years ago, a woman who had come through some very traumatic life experiences and was working through them, coming to theological college, but also doing a Bachelor of Literature, a Bachelor of Arts, looking at literature. She was a poetry writer. She was living in assisted accommodation, which she lost, and couldn't afford to live in Melbourne, so she moved to Bendigo, where she started her own business, helping people learn, with all sorts of difficulties, learn how to sew. She was a really good sewer. She won various awards from the Bendigo Business Council thing. They have annual rewards. And then one night at 2:33 she woke up completely paralysed and discovered she had MS. Had to lose her business, took her months to recover from that bout, and decided that the best thing to do was to become as fit as possible, so she started riding a push bike, moving up to riding through Vietnam, a little bit. Learned all sorts of things about how to manage MS on the way there. Then she rode the Camino in Santiago de Compostela in Spain. All of this she shared. She's a very good writer. She shared on Facebook daily updates, and very addictive they are, because she muses on what her body's doing, how she's managing it, but especially the people she meets along the way, and the amazing, excuse me, I need an operation, the amazing joy and hope that is shared as she shares her story with people, and the generosity of people, and the goodness, the simple goodness of people. A couple of years ago she rode around Victoria and ended up putting her, with a lot of encouragement from people like me, putting her posts into a book, which I wrote the foreword for, so forward probably. Just, you know.
just read the foreword.
Yeah, just read the foreword, that's right. Well, the foreword actually probably tells you exactly what you're going to find. And she was sort of getting by and decided, she might even start her own business again when she lost the housing that she was in, and she simply couldn't afford to pay rent. So she's now basically homeless. But she decided, well, she could either lie around feeling gloomy about it, or she could turn it into something positive. And so she started an Around Australia ride to raise awareness for MS. Problem is, no one wanted to give her any sponsorship. So she just started anyway. She's got as far as far north Queensland, and it's just too hot and everything else to continue. So she's staying there for the moment. But meanwhile, her story is just full of wonderful little snippets of how generous people are. People who, her dog Kobe, who's just gorgeous, makes friends everywhere, and then people start talking to her about what she's doing, and someone will offer her a few nights free in a caravan park. Someone's come up with an old ute that she can now use and shoves her bike on the back and worked out that it wasn't going to be practical to simply ride a push bike all around Australia. So she just keeps people engaged with, first of all, what it's like to live with MS, but also what it's like to live with the idea that life is actually hopeful and life can be positive, and yes, there are terrible days. There's no blinking the fact that she has some terrible days. But what she does with her thoughts around those days, the way she disciplines herself to think positively and move on, is absolutely inspiring. I think she's amazing. So just a couple of photos that she sent me, that she's happy for me to share this morning, and happy for me to share that bit of her story. And Julie's going to share with you one of her recent posts. Thanks. And there'll be silence afterwards, just sitting.
Kate. I went for an early morning ride on Saturday and stopped at a service station for morning tea. I met some motorcyclists, a rabbit and a chook, who were waiting for others to join them for a charity run. I asked about their story. The rabbit told me he rode with the graveyard riders. Now, while this guy was super friendly, the mention of graveyard riders evoked a whole range of stereotypes about motorcyclists. Rebels, obsessed with death, reckless. No evidence, just word association. I put the thoughts aside, continued the conversation about their day. I left before them and they wished me a safe ride. They passed me later that morning and they all waved as they rode by. This morning I went to a cafe in Tin Can Bay and read the local newsletter while I waited for my milkshake. I spotted an article about the graveyard riders. It explained the purpose of their name. It wasn't about riding toward the graveyard, but away from it. Their purpose was to raise awareness and support for those struggling with mental health issues, depression and suicide. Their message: life can begin again after depression. It was a message of hope. It was about providing a place of belonging for those who thought they'd bottomed out. My judgment on the weekend couldn't have been further from the truth. Their mission: a modern day resurrection story. Death doesn't follow life, life follows death. A paradox that cannot be explained in any other way than living it, witnessing it. A note for the Christians among us. We can get caught up in the doctrines, the story, and miss the daily lived reality that resurrection happens in the most unlikely places. I witness stories repeatedly in the back blocks of our country, reminding me that the story of God is far bigger, mysterious, and exciting than we can comprehend. The graveyard riders inspired hope within me, action, acceptance, and message to create a healthier world. P.S. from last Tuesday. I've found a home for 6 months and it's called the White House. I'd like to add a ballroom, but it will have to wait. It's on 275 acres and is a small community of tiny homes. One resident has a doctorate in music, so that will entail lots of great discussion and collaborations. I've found about 1,000 kilometres of bike trails nearby, so I can still get a lot of riding in. I'm planning to continue the bigger ride in July. I just need some downtime to figure out a way of doing it without killing myself in the process. Yesterday we spent the day down in the creek, the only way to survive 39 degrees without power or aircon. So we're looking forward to a real bed, fridge, bathroom and aircon.
So where do you see hope at the moment? What takes you into this new year with a sense of moving forward? What are the things that are true and honest and just and pure and lovely, of good report, that you can lift your eyes to when you're feeling as if the world is nothing but black and drear? Because there are many stories around, like those ones and whole ranges in between. So just for a couple of minutes, if you feel okay sharing and don't feel you have to, maybe just have a little chat with people near you around the table, or join a table if you're not at one, or just with the person next to you, about what's giving you hope at the moment.
This is my first. So that's hope. The world goes round and we
because what we're seeing with kids,
So how much younger than you was she? So you were old enough to remember.
visa problems.
Continuing. Trying to get another application in this week. Trying to get the interview as possible. Contacting them this
For a ride or?
Yeah, on the bike.
Yeah.
There's another group. Started to Traralgon South, went down to Yarra, back through Tara Valley, went back and forth through Tara Valley Road and went across the bridge to Yarra.
But she became independent.
Big one.
She showed her independence.
West Bridge. Droughts and rains. the Bradford scheme going, talked about for 50 years. Bringing water from up north down to where we need it, down to the river. Not so rivers, canals and pipelines. We need to have excessive floods in northern Queensland with just water everywhere. At the same time, we go one state south and die in drought. This Bradford scheme we talked about was in the 60s and 70s. Got enough courage to go and do it, because every government that's going to do it is not going to be around when it finishes, so they won't get any credit. And that's the truth.
Was she timid when she was younger? Did my big sister say to her? When they suddenly find out that they are 3 or 4 is an age where they just go. Yeah, it's well, that's the truth.
About 10 years ago, people had voted for attendance. Went down to Warrnambool again. Someone flying to the Paris and Rachel. Concrete races. Just busting that kid overtaken by cars like a
I used to talk to my boys when I was carrying them internally and had better control. Because they can hear from very, very early time of their development. And I thought, you need to know that
one of the biggest selling prices in the world.
and one of them, so I used to talk to them. And one of them was
supply 2,000 a year.
well, it's the market's
25,000 cases
and if
sold
you
on
don't sleep, I don't sleep.
So I've got
And when I don't sleep, I get crazy. And you will not like friends. So if you sleep and I sleep, we'll always be okay. And my first book, before he did everything your mother told you,
the 3-wheelers, they've still got the new 2-wheeler ones, the Chinese
and he would sleep. Once he stopped the feeding changes and stuff, he would sleep 12 hours. I mean, every time he went to bed. So if he went to bed at 8 o'clock, he would sleep 12 hours. My younger son woke up at 7 o'clock every morning. To me, it was quite ridiculous. When I had babies, they said, oh, get the babies, get the baby, children to bed by about 5 or 6 o'clock. I said, well, you're mad. And they go, I said, well, they can only sleep 12 hours. So you're inviting them to wake up early. And I went, oh, you didn't think of that. I was thinking of having dinner in peace. That's not the end of the day you worry about peace. You worry about peace at about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. That's kids and people growing up.
Well, hopefully you will continue the conversations afterwards, but let's take all of that into our gathering around communion. You might like to stay there while we have communion, which is itself a hopeful act. We do it every week as a hopeful act. We do it because of a story of death which was actually about resurrection and life. We do it to remind ourselves that we are people of hope, which is not always an easy thing to be, and sometimes requires of us things that are way beyond what we feel we can do, which is why we do it together, so that we can help each other hear the stories of hope when for ourselves we're not hearing much in our lives. And so as you take the bread and the cup. We remember the story that we live out of, a story that is always riding away from death towards life, that always recognises that after the deadly times of life, there will be hope and there will be new life. So we are thankful for the bread and for the cup. We are thankful for the community within which we take these things, and take them in your own time around your table. Amen. Announcements, just a couple, and then we're going to see a little bit of footage of our marches. AGM in 2 weeks, don't forget, be here. There'll be food, there's always food. I'm sure there'll be food.
Will there be the copies of the meeting
Copies of
the
the
week
reports.
before?
I am sure there probably will be.
Danny has worked very hard. He's, I think, waiting on one, but yes, he knows you like it before.
Yeah, yep.
So he will get
That
it.
would be good, yes.
He certainly has been on our tails with a big whip, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, but on the whole, I think
Meryl, we've got dishes started back this year. We're very excited that we've got more people wanting to host than months.
ooh,
So the first one in February, which is the night of the AGM, and that's why the reflective service has been pushed to the following week, will be at Paul and Karen Crops-Turton in Warrandyte. Now I know some of our friends used to say you need a packed lunch to go out to those places, but if you need, anyone would like to share driving, maybe let me know.
sure.
But they're very excited about it, and I see this as a great experience, like a great thing to get into
For them
our
to be
community.
doing, yeah, absolutely, yep. Okay, so everyone heard that dish on the 15th at Paul and Karen's, out in Warrandyte. If you need a lift, let someone know and we'll make sure you can get there. I've put some advertising which has gone out, I think, on the end of one of the wells or something, about a course on forgiveness that's being run by John Stewart. Anyone here, I think there's someone in the congregation apart from me who's done it. It's amazing. It's a 12-week course, 2 hours a week, so it's quite a commitment. But John was part of the group training people and learning from people in Rwanda after the genocide. And he uses a lot of the stories of the people in Rwanda and what they learnt about how complex forgiveness is. And I sort of went into it with a sense of, I'm a theologian, I think I know about forgiveness. I was blown out of my socks by it. It was just fantastic. So if anyone wants any more information on that or is interested in, I think it's starting end of February, come and see me and I can get you the information. Any other announcements?
I have harvested my damson plums and I have 20 kilo. In single kilo bags, in a freezer, not cooked, just straight in the freezer. Anybody who wants them to make plum sauce or plum jam or whatever, let me know, I'll bring them on a Sunday.
Okay, anyone who wants to make plum jam or plum sauce, see Barb.
Meryl, the other thing, hospitality is on the, getting up and going. We will keep telling people, but the last service in March where we're saying farewell to Brian, we're having a church lunch.
Yep.
So that would be good for everyone to get in their diaries to make that a big day.
Yes. Last week in March, farewell to Brian, there'll be a church lunch Yeah, be there. Why wouldn't you? Bring your tissues.
Can't be in two places at once.
Yeah.
We'll miss you.
Yes, and hence why I can't help out.
Yeah, I did get that.
Um, So, Bo, if you can pop up what you have from Rosemary, that would be lovely, thank you. There we are.
Happy Pride! Happy Pride! Hello from the Graveyards Harbour. Yeah, happy Pride! Happy Pride!
There we go. Little bit of hope right there. Yeah. And isn't the weather so much nicer than last year? Oh my goodness. Benediction from a book that I have called The Lives We Actually Have, a book of blessings. Blessed are we with eyes open to see reality, the sickness and loneliness, the injustice of racial oppression, the unimpeded greed and misuse of power, violence, intimidation, and use of dominance for its own sake, the mockery of truth and disdain for weakness, and worse, the seeming powerlessness of anyone trying to stop it. God, seek us out and find us and lead us to where hope lies, where your peaceable kingdom will come and your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Hope is an anchor dropped into the future. We feel you pulling us toward it once again. Amen. Bobby, take it away.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine all upon your face. The rain falls soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of their hand. May God hold you in the palm of their hand.
Thank you, Paul. Beautiful.
Would anyone like more coffee if I make another pot?
Yes.
Yes? Yeah.
Well, get it yourself.
Anyone else to illustrate? Yes, yeah, no, I certainly knew around on the
That's what I'm saying. She's standing there pointing at them. I found a dodgy book for you. I'll bring it another day.
Okay.
I forgot to throw it in the car.
How you going?
Yes.
No, he's getting
There's evidence of other snacks all over your face, madam.
a full tummy.
It's just fascinating, isn't it? I think.
Snack? Just had a cold. Well sung, Bobby. Sure. Who's that? Bobby.
Bobby.
Can I play a little song on the piano?
Playing golf. No, I'm not.